There's a strange kind of pain that hides behind perfect family photos, the kind where the smiles shine for the camera, but fade the moment it's gone, where the world sees harmony but you remember tension. Because sometimes the most hurt children come from homes that seem perfect on the outside. This isn't the home with broken windows or raised voices echoing through the halls. This is the home that looks like a magazine spread. Dinners are quiet. Voices are gentle. Everything has its place. Nothing ever out of order. But behind those framed memories lived something unspoken. A coldness that could crush you without ever raising its voice. This is what psychologists call the perfect home paradox. When everything looks fine, but the emotions underneath are broken. When the structure is pristine, but the soul of the place is starving. You can't point to a bruise. You can't name the moment it all went wrong. Because nothing looked wrong. You had food, shelter, education, opportunity. You had everything a child is supposed to need. Except the one thing that actually matters. Being seen. You remember it in small moments. The way silence filled the room when someone was upset but no one ever said why. The way your tears were met with logic instead of comfort. You're fine. There's no reason to be upset. Other kids have it much worse. You learn to stop reacting. Because sadness makes people uncomfortable, and needing comfort feels like weakness. This is what it feels like when a home meets every practical need but starves you emotionally. The lights are always on, the fridge is full, the calendar is organised. But warmth is fed to you on a drip. Conditional, earned, never freely given. You have everything you're supposed to need except connection, except validation, except the simple, sacred feeling that you matter just because you exist. And still, the show goes on. The doorbell rings, and you watch the air change. Voices soften. Smiles appear like costumes pulled from a closet. You can feel the tension tucked neatly behind polite conversation. The performance begins. Dinner is served in silence disguised as grace. Laughter is rehearsed, like a song everyone knows the words to but no one believes anymore. This is what image maintenance looks like. A family performing harmony so convincingly that everyone starts to believe it, including you. You learn quickly. Truth can't exist if it threatens the picture frame. Keeping the peace matters more than speaking the truth. And your job, whether anyone says it out loud or not, is to make sure the image stays intact. So you adapt. You become fluent in pretending. You master the art of reading what people need from you before they ask. You disappear a little more each day, not physically, but internally. Because love in this house isn't unconditional. It's earned through poise, composure, obedience, and the ability to make discomfort disappear. And the lesson sinks in quietly, deeply, like a stain you can't scrub out. If you want to be loved, you have to be perfect. The tragedy is, you weren't born this way, you were taught to be this way. In a house where love was contractual, where approval had terms and conditions, where your worth was always up for negotiation, the fear that followed you never really left. Fear of disapproval, fear of being too much or not enough, fear that love could vanish if you said the wrong thing, showed the wrong emotion, needed too loudly. You start reading moods like weather, sensing storms before they form. Every sigh, every pause, every shift in tone becomes a warning signal your nervous system learns to track. You call it intuition, but really it's survival. Your sense of safety depends entirely on the emotions of everyone around you. You stop existing as a person and start existing as proof. Proof that your parents did everything right. Proof that the family is fine. Proof that the image holds, but inside, you're disappearing. Every time you silence your truth to keep the peace, you lose a piece of yourself. Every time you swallow your feelings to avoid tension, you carve out another hollow space inside your chest. Until one day you realize you've mastered the art of invisibility, smiling in public while falling apart in private, functioning flawlessly while feeling nothing at all. You live behind your own face, you achieve without rest, you smile through exhaustion, a version of you that knows how to perform, how to please, how to make everyone comfortable. It keeps you safe, but it also keeps you unknown. And from the outside, it works. People call you strong, stable, reliable, mature beyond your years. But what they don't see is that same stability was your only defense. High functioning is just another word for still running while broken. Underneath that control lives a quiet kind of chaos. When your needs weren't denied, just ignored, It doesn't leave scars, it leaves silence. Your body learned to live like a soldier in a war that never ended. Even now, in safe rooms with safe people, something in you won't stand down, won't exhale. Because the part of you that should know you're okay never got the message. It's still back there, waiting for the next storm. You become the listener, the helper, the one who holds everyone else together. You absorb their pain, manage their moods, carry their weight. Because someone had to, and no one else was going to do it. You weren't supposed to manage your mother's anxiety. You weren't supposed to fix your father's mood. You weren't supposed to know the intimate details of their struggles or feel responsible for their emotional stability. But you did. Because the cost of not doing it felt too high. Even now, as an adult, your body remembers. It braces for conflict before it begins. It apologizes before being asked to. It scans every room, every face, always watching for a change in weather. You've spent a lifetime earning calm, and even when you have it, you can't relax. Because the child who lived in fear of losing love still lives inside you, and they still believe they have to perform to be safe. You grow up believing calm must be earned. That peace is a prize you win by never upsetting anyone. So you carry that lesson into adulthood, mistaking control for safety and exhaustion for love. You build a life that looks stable, a steady job, a tidy home, a smile that always says, "I'm fine." But beneath it, your nervous system still hums with tension. You're waiting for something to go wrong, for someone to notice that you don't actually have it all together, that you're barely holding on. Your success feels borrowed, and your worth feels conditional. Because when love once depended on perfection, achievement becomes the only way you know how to feel worthy. You tell yourself you've outgrown the past, but deep down you're still chasing approval from ghosts. And in relationships, you crave closeness but flinch when it finds you. You long to be loved, but you don't trust what love feels like. Because being known once meant being judged, so you love carefully. Enough to connect, but never enough to be truly seen. You learned early that relying on others came at a cost, that vulnerability was dangerous, that needing was weakness. So you built walls disguised as independence, but really, you're just tired of being disappointed. And yet, you perform, you smile, you host, you keep everyone comfortable. And when the room empties, that old silence returns. The same one you knew as a child, sitting in a beautiful home that never felt like home at all. Society only deepens the illusion. In a culture that worships image, composure, and success, pain becomes taboo. You're told you should be grateful. You're told it wasn't that bad, because to the world, a quiet home means a safe home. But quiet isn't the same as peaceful. How do you explain a wound that never left a mark? How do you name a hurt that lived in what wasn't said, what wasn't given, what was quietly withheld? How do you grieve a childhood that looked fine from the outside? But here's the truth. Healing begins quietly. Not with blame, but with recognition. With naming what happened for what it was. Emotional neglect, psychological control, conditional love. It starts when you stop minimizing the pain that shaped you, when you let yourself say, "That wasn't love, that was fear, that wasn't care, that was control." This is where self-compassion becomes radical. Not soft, not sentimental, but revolutionary. It's the quiet act of saying, "I'm allowed to exist without earning it." Healing doesn't mean blaming your parents. It means breaking the pattern they couldn't. It's not rebellion, it's reclamation. Because the injury of the perfect home wasn't the absence of love. It was love with conditions. And the only way to heal conditional love is to stop making your worth conditional too. So you start small. You pause before apologizing for things that don't need apologies. You stop trying to fix moods that aren't yours to fix. You allow yourself to rest without guilt. You practice saying no without over-explaining. These moments don't look dramatic, but they're revolutions. Each one loosens the grip of the performance. Each one lets the real you breathe a little deeper. And maybe one day you'll look in the mirror. No performance, no mask, just you. And for the first time, that will feel like enough. You are not the gap between who you are and who they wanted you to be. You are the bridge, the proof that something can look unbroken and still heal. Drop a comment and share your story, and if this resonated with you, hit like and subscribe because we dive deep into psychology that actually explains how your mind works. See you next time.